Aaron Rodgers just dropped a statement that shocked the entire NFL. He says there is no deadline for his decision, no contract, no clear plan, but behind the scenes, conversations with the Steelers are already happening. At this moment, Aaron Rodgers remains one of the most talked about players in football, not because of a spectacular throw or a dramatic playoff game, but because nobody knows what he plans to do next. The legendary quarterback is officially a free agent, and the entire league is waiting for his next move. Recently, Rodgers made it clear that he is not rushing the decision. He told reporters that there is no deadline on when he will decide about returning for another season. That statement immediately ignited speculation across the NFL. When a quarterback with Rodgers' resume keeps the door open, every possible outcome becomes a major storyline. Rodgers has already played 21 seasons in professional football. If he returns for another year, it would mark his 22nd season in the league. Very few quarterbacks have managed to sustain that level of longevity while remaining relevant to championship conversations. Throughout his career, Rodgers has built one of the most impressive resumes in modern football. He is a 4-time MVP winner and a Super Bowl champion. His ability to extend plays, throw accurately from impossible angles, and read defenses before the snap turned him into one of the most feared quarterbacks of his generation. For more than a decade, he defined an era of offensive football. Defenses spent countless hours designing schemes specifically to slow him down. Yet week after week, Rodgers continued to find ways to win games. Even now, late in his career, the possibility of Rodgers joining a team immediately changes expectations. That is why his current free agent status has created so much interest around the league. One of the teams connected to Rodgers in recent conversations is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Reports indicate that Rodgers has been speaking with members of the Steelers organization as he evaluates his future. Among the names involved in those discussions are head coach Mike McCarthy and general manager Omar. Those conversations have not resulted in a contract offer yet, but they show that the door is open for a possible partnership. The Steelers have long been known as one of the most stable organizations in professional football. The franchise has built its reputation on discipline, strong leadership, and a commitment to competing every season. For decades, the Steelers' identity revolved around elite defense and a powerful running game. But like every modern team, they understand that quarterback play often determines how far a season can go. That is where the Rodgers conversation becomes fascinating. Adding a quarterback with his experience could instantly reshape the expectations surrounding Pittsburgh. Imagine a locker room filled with young offensive players learning from a veteran who has spent more than 2 decades mastering the position. Rodgers' knowledge of defensive coverages, timing routes, and situational football could accelerate the development of an entire offense. Even his presence alone would command attention from opposing defenses. Defensive coordinators would have to prepare for a quarterback who can recognize blitz packages and adjust plays before the ball is snapped. At the same time, Rodgers is clearly approaching this moment with caution. His statement that there is no deadline suggests that he is carefully evaluating every possibility. For a player who has already accomplished so much, the decision is no longer just about playing another season. It is about the environment, the culture, and the opportunity to compete at a meaningful level. Rodgers has always been known as a thoughtful player who studies every aspect of the game. It makes sense that he would approach the biggest career decision of his life with the same careful mindset. The fact that no contract offer has been made yet also indicates that discussions remain exploratory. Teams often spend weeks evaluating potential moves during the offseason. Front offices study salary cap implications, roster structure, and long-term strategy before making major commitments. For Pittsburgh, the decision would involve balancing the benefits of a legendary quarterback with the long-term development of their roster. Bringing in Rodgers would immediately place the team under a national spotlight. Television networks would circle Steelers games on the schedule. Every performance would be analyzed. Every win would fuel playoff conversations. Returning for a 22nd season would mean committing once again to the intense preparation required to compete at the highest level. The NFL season demands physical resilience and mental focus. Quarterbacks spend hours studying film, memorizing game plans, and adjusting to weekly defensive challenges. Rodgers has lived that routine for more than 20 years. Deciding whether to continue means deciding whether he still feels the same competitive fire that fueled his career for so long. History shows that legendary quarterbacks often wrestle with that question late in their careers. Some step away once they feel they have achieved everything they set out to accomplish. Others continue playing because the thrill of competition remains impossible to replace. By refusing to set a deadline, he has given himself the freedom to reflect without external pressure. Fans across the league are watching closely. Some hope to see Rodgers take the field again for another season of highlight throws and dramatic finishes. Others wonder whether this offseason might mark the closing chapter of one of the most remarkable careers in football. If Rodgers ultimately decides to return, the impact would ripple across the entire NFL landscape. Teams planning their seasons would suddenly need to prepare for the possibility of facing a veteran quarterback capable of controlling games with experience and precision. The Steelers themselves would instantly become one of the most discussed teams in the league. Analysts would debate whether Rodgers could guide them deep into the playoffs. Younger players on the roster would gain the opportunity to learn from a quarterback who has spent decades perfecting the details of the position. However, the situation remains fluid. At this stage, there is no contract, no official agreement, and no confirmed timeline. The NFL community understands that Rodgers does not make decisions lightly. Every move throughout his career has been deliberate. Every statement carries meaning. His recent comments about having no deadline suggest that he intends to fully explore his options before announcing anything definitive. Meanwhile, the Steelers organization continues its offseason planning. Conversations with Rodgers may evolve into something more substantial, or they may remain simply part of a larger evaluation process. This is the nature of the NFL offseason. But sometimes those conversations lead to decisions that change the direction of a franchise. Right now, fans can only wait. The story has all the elements that make football fascinating: a legendary quarterback, a respected franchise, and a decision that could shape the upcoming season. If Rodgers chooses to step onto the field once more, it will represent another chapter in a career that has already delivered countless unforgettable moments. If he chooses to walk away, he will do so with a legacy that few players in the history of the game can match. Either outcome will bring closure to one of the most closely watched stories of the offseason. Until that announcement arrives, the speculation will continue. Analysts will debate possibilities. Fans will imagine what the upcoming season might look like with Rodgers under center. But for now, the final decision belongs to the quarterback himself. Aaron Rodgers has made one thing clear: there is no deadline, and until he makes his choice, the entire football world will keep watching and waiting for the moment when one of the greatest quarterbacks of his generation reveals what comes next.